While the world remembers Hiroshima, Pearl Harbor, and the great battles of World War II, another war was waged in silence. It was not fought with bombs and bullets. It was fought with disease. For decades, its horrors were hidden, its victims were silenced, and its perpetrators protected. This is the story of Unit 731, a secret division of the Japanese Imperial Army that carried out experiments so cruel, so unimaginable, that many refused to believe them when survivors first spoke. Unit 731 was Japan's most secret military project of the 1930s and 1940s. Officially, it was called the Epidemic Prevention and Water Purification Department of the Kwantung Army. On paper, it looked harmless, a facility to protect soldiers from disease. But behind the cover, it was a place of nightmares. Inside its walls, prisoners were subjected to experiments so brutal they defy belief. Doctors infected men, women, and children with plague, anthrax, cholera, and syphilis. Victims were dissected alive, without anesthesia, so scientists could watch disease destroy the human body in real time. Others were tied outside in freezing conditions until their limbs froze solid. Some were locked in pressure chambers until their organs ruptured. The victims were never called by name. To the staff, they were Maruta, human beings stripped of dignity, reduced to objects for study. Unit 731 was not just a laboratory. It was a factory of death, built to produce knowledge for war at the cost of countless innocent lives. The story of Unit 731 began in 1931 when Japan invaded Manchuria. The empire's leaders saw the region as vital to their future. It was rich in resources, farmland, and space. By 1932, Japan had established the puppet state of Manchukuo. In this new territory, far from the eyes of the outside world, Japan could build whatever it wanted in complete secrecy. One man seized this opportunity: Shiro Ishii. A microbiologist and physician in the Imperial Army, Ishii believed germs could be turned into the most powerful weapons of all. He lobbied Japan's military leaders, convincing them that a biological weapons program would give their empire unstoppable power. By 1936, construction began in the Pingfang district of Harbin, the largest city in Manchuria. The result was a sprawling complex covering more than 6 square kilometers. It housed over 150 buildings, laboratories, barracks, prison blocks, workshops, and incinerators. Officially, it was presented as a water purification plant. In truth, it was the beating heart of Japan's biological warfare program. But Unit 731 was not alone. Across China and Southeast Asia, smaller units operated in secret. Unit 100 in Changchun focused on animals and crops. Unit 1644 in Nanjing carried out experiments on civilians. Each unit contributed to the empire's growing arsenal of biological weapons. At the center of this network stood Unit 731, larger, deadlier, and more infamous than them all. The mastermind was General Shiro Ishii. Born in 1892, Ishii was intelligent, ambitious, and utterly ruthless. He rose quickly through the ranks of the military, earning respect for his brilliance in microbiology. But Ishii's vision went far beyond medicine. He believed germs could be used not to save lives, but to win wars. He dreamed of plague bombs, anthrax shells, and epidemics unleashed on enemy cities. To him, germs were cheaper and deadlier than bullets. Backed by the Imperial Army, Ishii assembled a team of doctors, surgeons, nurses, and scientists. Some joined for prestige. Others were drawn by curiosity. Many simply obeyed orders. Together, they became the staff of Unit 731. The victims came from across Asia. Chinese civilians arrested in villages, prisoners of war from China, Korea, Mongolia, and Russia. Even a handful of captured Allied soldiers from Britain and America. None had a choice. Once inside the gates of Pingfang, escape was impossible. Ishii reduced them all to Maruta. Human beings turned into numbers in his reports. His ambition blinded him to their suffering. He wanted glory. He wanted to be remembered as a pioneer of science. And in pursuit of that dream, he built a nightmare. Unit 731's mission was clear: to create biological weapons for the Japanese Empire. The experiments were brutal. Prisoners were deliberately infected with plague, cholera, and anthrax. Victims were dissected alive, without anesthesia, so scientists could watch disease destroy the human body in real time. The victims were never called by name. To the staff, they were Miruta, logs, human beings stripped of dignity, reduced to objects for study. But the horror extended beyond the walls of Harbin. Entire Chinese villages were attacked with biological bombs. Planes dropped plague-infected fleas over towns. Wells and rivers were poisoned with cholera. Epidemics swept through communities, killing thousands. Each outbreak was carefully studied, its data brought back to Unit 731. The scale was vast. Historians estimate that more than 10,000 people died inside the facility itself. But when entire villages and regions are counted, the death toll rises into the hundreds of thousands. To Ishii and his team, every victim was just another piece of data. Every death was another step towards creating the perfect weapon. By 1945, Japan was losing the war. The Allies were closing in. The Soviets were advancing through Manchuria. And the United States had dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Japan's surrender was inevitable. In Harbin, Ishii gave the order, "Destroy everything." Prisoners who remained inside Unit 731 were executed, shot, poisoned, or burned. Guards set fire to buildings. Documents were shredded. Incinerators worked night and day. The goal was to erase every trace of what had happened. But not all evidence could be destroyed. The Soviets captured some staff and uncovered fragments of the truth. In 1949, during the Khabarovsk war crimes trials, Japanese doctors revealed shocking details about plague bombs, vivisections, and epidemics unleashed on villages. The United States, now occupying Japan, struck a deal with Shiro Ishii and his men. In exchange for their research data, they were granted immunity from prosecution. America wanted the knowledge for its own biological weapons program during the Cold War. As a result, Ishii lived freely until his death from throat cancer in 1959. Many of his colleagues went on to become respected doctors and professors. They built careers while their victims were left in silence. The true story of Unit 731 remained hidden for decades. Survivors who spoke out were often ignored. Only through their persistence and the work of historians did the full scale of the crimes become known. Today, the ruins of Unit 731 still stand in Harbin. They have been preserved as a museum, where visitors walk through the remains of prison cells, laboratories, and incinerators. The walls bear witness to the suffering that once took place there. In Japan, memory has been complicated. Some scholars and citizens call for recognition, while officials often avoid the subject. But across the world, Unit 731 is remembered as a warning. It teaches us that science without ethics is dangerous, that ambition without morality leads to cruelty, that dehumanization makes atrocity possible. This is the legacy of Unit 731, a story carved in silence, revealed in fragments, and remembered so that it is never repeated. Thank you for watching the video. For more future updates, like and subscribe to the channel.